Okay, we are live with another stream. So I think this stream is gonna be probably like an hour, maybe an hour and a half. So it's gonna be a little bit of a shorter stream today. And today I have an agenda I want to go through. So first and foremost, the leaderboard has now ended. So we have been running a seasonal leaderboard the past about 30 days. So on Raven we have this leaderboard. There is about 88 people that participated, and we now have winners. So number one is Humi331, which had a total P&L of $16,804 US, simulated of course. And so he wins $60. These $60 goes towards funding his trading account on Raven. And then number two is Gripper. He got a P&L of $3,929. So he's gonna win $30. And then we have third place, DHY. He have a P&L of $1,173 and is gonna win $10. So all of this goes toward funding their trading account on Raven. It's real money that they can YOLO on anything they want. And that leads me to, let me just actually, yeah, so I also have some stats I want to share. So we generated a total volume during the leaderboards of $15,327,000. Again, it's simulated. If this was real money, that would also be pretty great, because that would actually set Raven on the Polymarket leaderboards of some of the biggest contributors to volume on Polymarket. But of course, I don't know if we will be able to reach this when we do live trading, but hopefully in the future. And we had a total bots deployed was 350. Now keep in mind that the participant could maximum deploy one bot, seasonal bot. So that's 350 seasonal bots that was deployed, and 241 strategies was created. And then we had 68,559 total order events, order fill events. So that's both, that's any fill event. And then a total events we collected was 38,344,350 unique events from the different WebSockets that we run. So that's a lot of events. And I mean the the leaderboard was for sure a little bit rocky, especially in the beginning. So we did start the leaderboard about I think we started at 7th of April, but I had to stop it again after about 1 week because there was some major issues with the first one. So that was addressed, and then I did another one that has now ended. So that's this one here. And during that time, I mean, there's been so much great feedback in the Discords and also on email, people reaching out, and that has really helped me make Raven a really solid piece of software here. And I mean, still we are not there yet. We are still not ready to push the deploy button and say, hey, now we are actually ready with live trading. And I'm gonna talk a little bit more about that here in a minute. But yeah, I mean, one of the biggest actually challenges with this was actually simulation. So of course, when you do simulation, it's very difficult to figure out how to properly handle this so it accurately reflect what you would expect in live trading. There's so many different things that you really, like, you can maybe try to simulate it, but then do you want to simulate it? For example, when we do an order, we have different order types. We can partially simulate these order types. For example, fill or kill. Well, we could look into the order book, which is what we're doing. So we're looking into the order book, and then we are seeing, well, how much size is available. And if we see the size is available, then we fill it. Otherwise, we will kill it. But then when we fill it in simulation, that doesn't have any effect on the book, which it normally would have if we do live trading. So that's sort of the main issue here, is whatever we do in our trading in simulation doesn't have any effect on the actual order book. And of course that can affect our live trading strategy. That's why it's important to simulate it first, and then we actually test out live trading with a small balance. So that is kind of going to be the next step. And this was actually also a major issue we had kind of in the middle of this leaderboard, was actually where there was some people that was able to fill like huge amounts, which wouldn't have been possible actually. So in the beginning, the simulation engine didn't accurately use the order book to simulate the fills. It wouldn't even look at how much liquidity was available on the order book. That's then something I've since addressed and fixed. So whatever is on the order book, it will accurately look at that and then fill whatever is remaining. And then otherwise, depending on the order type, if it's fill and kill, so this one is wrong. So if it's fill and kill, it will then fill what's available and then otherwise kill the remaining. And then we also have good till cancelled. This one is, we're still struggling a little bit with this one, but basically it's gonna fill whatever is available and then the remaining will stay on the order book. Yeah, so it's a much better simulation engine, and this has been something that took quite a while to figure out to do properly. And I wouldn't say it's perfect, for sure it's not, but it's definitely an improvement since day one of this leaderboard. So this is just one example of something that has been improved, and it's gonna help further down the line to help people create great trading strategies. So yeah, that was like the main issue, and besides that, there's been so many other changes and features that we've done. I might even go through some of the if I go through the change log back till, yeah, so the first change log since we went live was, yeah, we added price to beat, weather, signal node. I haven't seen anyone use this one actually. We added history node, so you can compare a current signal with a past signal. I added live prices, so you can get the live Bitcoin price and Ethereum. There was some fixes to P&L. Yeah, we had some issues here, which is what we addressed. There was some double counted settlements, and that's actually why I chose at that time to reset it. So I reset the leaderboards, and then, you know, all was fixed, reset the leaderboard, and then since then everything was kind of okay. There was some small issues also with the fills that I just talked about. And then so many other different things. I just want to mention the major things. Like, yeah, one thing that is still kind of an ongoing issue potentially is like the DevOps. Sometimes bots will stop unexpectedly. One issue here was out of memory issues. So keep in mind that each of the bots, when they are deployed, they run on their own container. So doing simulation, some bots actually share a container. So there is currently, I believe it's 5 bots on one container. But then when we're doing live trading, it's going to be 1 bot per container. And that's also gonna, the reason I chose this architecture is there's a security aspect to it. And then it's also possible to easily deploy a bot on specific servers. So if you want to deploy a bot closer to Polymarket servers in Ireland, for example, it's going to be relatively easy to do that. And yeah, so many other things like added a crossover node, average true range. I added candlesticks for crypto prices, backfill, EMA, SMA for crypto prices. And what else? Strategy wizard. I don't know if anybody used this. This is just an experimental feature. Maybe we're gonna remove it. Add some canvas node grouping. Yeah, we also had some issues with the balance and percent-based position sizing we fixed. Many like small issues and tweaks here and there. What else? So back in April, yeah, upgraded to the new Central Limit Order Book version 2. So Polymarket did a big upgrade. I have since upgraded and is now testing out live trading. I did a major refactor of the market feed. So this has been an important change. And that was so before each of these bots would do its own WebSocket subscriptions on Polymarket. And you can imagine if we had at one point, at any one point, we probably have between 20 and 40 bots running at one time right now in the current state of Raven, which is, it's not a lot, but if each of these bots has to make their own WebSocket subscriptions, it's a lot of subscriptions and a lot of data coming in. And then you also have to consider, if you watch some of the earlier YouTube videos, to improve the latency, we actually need to have 10 concurrent WebSocket connections at one time. So let's say 20 bots times 10, it's like 200 WebSocket connections. So there's a high chance of rate limit. So what I did here is I created a central service that did all the WebSocket subscriptions, and then each bot would then subscribe to my service. So there's actually only 10 WebSocket connections to Polymarket, and then each bot would then subscribe to my service, and it allows me to fine adjust this so much better. So that was a big one. It took a while to get this right, but now it kind of works pretty well. Yeah, what else is interesting to talk about? Just many different tweaks and fixes here and there. There was some issues with the Chainlink real-time data service after we migrated to the new feed layer. And then I increased the WebSocket connections. So right now we do 10 WebSocket connections, and that is has improved the latency quite a bit. So now the server is in Finland, which is not the ideal place. It's for live trading. I will work on getting that to Ireland, but we are seeing about a 20 millisecond delay right now, latency from Polymarket to Finland. So that's where the server is right now. Yeah, many different tweaks, fixes here and there. And here is where I did a lot of fixes for the partial fills. I also migrated to Polymarket deposit wallet. So that's a new thing that Polymarket did. It's a new deposit wallet. And that was actually to address the ghost fills. So I have also migrated Raven to deposit wallets. So when you sign up on Raven and generate a wallet, there's basically a Polymarket deposit wallet. And then the big one also is the Raven CLI and AI infrastructure. So I created the Raven CLI so you can connect your Raven account with your preferred AI agent. And I've had pretty good feedback with it so far. It basically have access to most of the things that you also have access to in Raven. So you can get your strategies, get your bots. It can create strategies. It can get the logs from the bots and help you debug it. So yeah, I mean that's a good feature. It's something I use quite a bit actually, and I think I'm gonna talk a little bit about that as well. And then the last release, it has just been, yeah, again, further improvements, stop loss, take profits, and especially fixes and improvements to live trading. Yeah, so now I am preparing a new release. See if I can go to GitHub. That's also gonna be quite a big release that I will see here. Yeah, so I'm preparing version 1.13 here. I think I will release it maybe tomorrow. It's yeah, it's a big one. So 20,000 additions and minus 14,000. So that's a big overhaul to the whole UI. So I completely overhauled the UI. I think that has been a pretty good update. Actually, I need my... Let me just get my second monitor up. I don't have my second monitor here. I will need to check the comments here. Okay, so I see I got some... Get over here. Yes. All right. Like this. All right, hi guys. Oh, I see I did get some comments. Yeah, so I'm live again. And I was thinking about actually trying to do live every day. It has been a little bit difficult because I have some other things I need to do. But I will consider trying that for like a week or two, just trying to do like 1 or 2 hours every day, but we'll see. Maybe I'm gonna do that next week. Still kind of considering how that should look like. But yeah, so this feature here is, yeah, big overhaul to the UI. I think I'm gonna show that, how that's gonna look like. And I've also been working on a way to search for markets, and it doesn't really work. Still, it doesn't work that great yet. So this is how the UI looks right now. Like, this is the updated UI, and I'll just compare with the current. So this is the current, which looks like trash, and yeah, not great. The new UI that I will release soon looks like this. So the navigation is in the left side here, and then we have each of these big cards is the strategy, and then we have each of these is like an individual deployment of the strategy. It's a trading bot, each of these small cards here. And when you click the monitor, it's gonna open up in a card like this, so it's easier to navigate to the bots. This has been something that I was kind of annoyed with. Had to go to a different page, and then when I go back, it's hard to figure out where I am, especially if you have a lot of strategies and a lot of bots. And the same with the performance. It's gonna open up like this. You can see the performance like this. And then another one that I try to... Another thing that I try to achieve with this design is, maybe it's a little bit difficult to see, but let me see. So each of these cards have a version. Okay. We see version 4, version 2. And you can actually, let me see if I have it. Yeah, so you can compare versions. So it's the strategy version. If you update your strategy, you're gonna make a version 5. So what you might want to do is, you have an idea for a strategy. You create your strategy, and then you can deploy it, and then you can make tweaks to it, and you can deploy another bot and then compare them. So you can see I have different results for each of my strategies. And I might want to, you know, this one has, let's say this one have a really bad performance. This one have a less bad performance. Maybe I want to compare them. What changes did I do between these? So what you can do is you can compare them. So I can choose version 2, and I can choose version 4, and then it's actually going to show the differences that was made. So here I actually changed the buy condition. So I added a stop loss. Actually, I removed stop loss. So this is kind of... So yeah, I added a 0% stop loss, which is effectively removing the stop loss. And the same with the take profit. So that's basically what I did. So it's easier to see, like, oh, this strategy here has a really good performance. This one that I did before did not. What did I actually change? What parameters did I update? So that's actually what that feature is for. And then you can also, you know, if version 2 was a really good performance, maybe I want to, you know, branch out of that, so I can, it should be able to update that. And yeah, so that's basically the idea behind that. Yeah, of course, there's also been updates to the strategy canvas here, and yeah, mostly just, yeah, it's just a UI. Besides that, it's exactly the same as before. This one can be hidden like this, so it has a little bit more space. And yeah, there's also been updates to the monitor. I don't think I have anything running. Yeah, I have. So now you can filter by all the bots and then running bots. So I have these two running. And let me see the monitor. Yeah. Like this, so the monitor is more or less the same, but there has been some tweaks to the structure of it, and yeah, it just generally just looks much better. So yeah, so that's a big change. And then I did a market search. Is this one here? Let me see if it works. Yeah. It's yeah, I'm not sure if I'm actually gonna release it because I see there's some issues that I want to address. But basically it's an index of all the markets on Polymarket. So I used their API, and then I got all the events and I actually indexed them in a specific search database. Let me see if I can search. Yeah. So BTC, you can click on it and get some information. You can copy the slug. We use this for the strategy. There's also a series ID. You can copy the IDs, different information about it. But yeah, good, not great. Maybe Apple. We have some Apple stuff here, but what I want to do also is, yeah, let me try that. So see, I haven't even tested it. So we have the volume and liquidity. It's a minimum 1,000. Does it work? Yeah, it does work. Let me see. Okay, I'm one minimum 300,000. Yeah, so now we have this one here. That's 233 million. But yeah, that works. So you can search for liquidity, 24-hour volume. Let's do 1 million, see if there's anything about that. Yeah. So again, the FIFA World Cup has a lot of volume, 10 million volume past 24 hour. So yeah, it still needs some tweaking, this one. I might even just release it since it's already here, but it's not, I feel like it's not a finished, polished product yet, but we'll see. So that's the milli-search, that's what it's called, and fix some pagination issues. Yeah, I did some fixing with some latency, and I did some fixing with basically I added some options for myself to track latency. So that's something I'm optimizing right now. Yeah, and I saw that the latency adding an order to Polymarket was quite slow. There was some issues that I've since fixed, but I'm still working on that. So now the latency is better, but it's still, I feel like there's still some room to go. So I'll be working on that during the weekend. Yeah, so that's basically, I will continue work today, and then hopefully I'll get this one shipped tomorrow. So what we're looking at now is, well, we're in the beta now, right? How is it? Tools. So now in beta. And then we'll go to early access. Let me see. I think I have the roadmap on raven.gg. Let me see if that's up to date. Yeah. So we're in beta. That is actually ended. So now we are kind of between here. We are still in beta, but the leaderboard is ended, right? As I mentioned at the beginning of this live stream. Yeah, I'm in Asia, so that's why it's so bright. It's morning for me. Do you plan to switch to base UI and Shetland theme presets? I mean, I use Shetland UI already, like for some of the components and stuff like that. Yeah, but not base UI. But I use Shetland UI for the components, for most of the components, and Radix and Radix. So that's what I use. For early access, there's some things I need to address before we move over to early access. So right now I'm fixing and testing live trading, and I'm inviting 3 users. So I have 3 users already that signed up for testing, helping me test live trading. So I will give them $25 of my own money, and then they use that for live trading on Raven to help me test it out. So that's actually there. I hope that I can invite them on Monday. So there's a few things I want to address during this weekend, and then hopefully invite them Monday and just have them blow their whole $25. Maybe they're gonna make money even, and they're gonna keep all of it. Then I want to improve some data handling. Gotta talk a little bit more about that, I think. Do you think the auto learn from the strategies is happening already? What do you mean about auto learn? You mean like for AI, or what do you mean exactly with auto learn? Data handling we have an issue with. I kind of feel like it's an issue, and so I think maybe I'm going to talk a little bit more about that here after. There's some latency and co-location I want to fix as well, especially latency. That's what I'm working on now actually, and then co-location is more like be able to deploy a bots on AVS servers. There are some security thing I wanna address, and then event browsing. That's what I just talked about now that I have here. I wanna fix this one up as well. Yeah, so okay, so I deployed the Raven skill, right? So I have open sourced. So I think this is a good idea. I think there's something here. So that's the Raven CLI, this one here. It's a skill that you can install for your AI, and you can actually set up like Hermes or some kind of a harness for your agent that can, you know, deploy strategy, wait for results, check how did it perform, tweak it, deploy it again, how did it perform, like just recursively testing and tweaking the same strategy. And then these AIs kind of have like a learning and memory system already. So I think that's actually a potential, you know, for something in that direction. And then it's kind of just gonna learn as it go. I already have something of that in place that I'm gonna talk about as well, that I use for testing. Yeah, so I have right now this set up here. So this is actually my Mac Mini. I think I talked about this before. So I have this one set up. So I can ask it which cron jobs. So basically what it does is it does a few different cron jobs. Every time the cron job runs, it's going to use the AI, which is currently connected with Codex, to run. One of these cron jobs, I installed the Raven CLI skill. So I installed this skill here. And you can see here we have these 2 cron jobs, number 4 and number 5. So that's the Raven Unified QA 10 minutes. So runs every 10 minutes. This one runs every 10 minutes as well. And then what it actually does is it runs through some of my test cases. And this is something I only added for myself. If I go to my admin here, I created 87 test cases. So this is test cases separate from the code base. So in the code base, there's like more than 3,000 unit tests. These are tests with actual strategies. that the AI can deploy, and then it can get the results. So each of these, I can see if I can find one of these. So here, for example, live promotion risk, position limit rejects buys, verify position caps block additional buy exposure. There's different test cases that the AI then first it's gonna run it in simulation, and then it can run it in live. You can actually see here this one. Let me see. Yeah, so you can see here the first one actually failed, and then the second one passed, and both of these is actually in live trading. And then it does have a different information and payload, and all of this is actually something that I've set up using the Raven skill. So right now I use it for automated testing, where I can actually have the AI take a test case and then create a strategy, deploy it first in simulation, and then if it sees, all right, in simulation it works, now let's try in live trading and see if it works the same way. If it does, it passes. So that's how I use it. But you can actually use it to set it up with, you know, your own strategies, instead of just testing these strange things. Actually have it create a trading strategy. That's at least that idea behind it, and it actually works pretty well. Yeah, so I think actually now that I think I'll just pause these two, because we already ran through pause, cron job 4 and 5. Yeah, so I'll pause these two because we already ran through all the test cases, and I'm gonna run through them again later. And then I actually have 2 or 3 other cron jobs, but this is just for some ongoing work. I talked about that in the past live stream, I believe. All right. So yeah, so this is the roadmap. It's a few things, of course, still testing live trading, and when we do that, there's gonna be more improvement and fixes, and if there's bugs, they are gonna be addressed. Data handling is also something I would like to fix. So that's a major issue. I mean, it's kind of an issue, or it can become an issue, and that's the way that I store market data. So when you run a bot, so let's see if I can find a bot and just explain. Yeah, so I have these 2 running. Let's do this one here. So the monitor. So the live price view have all these market ticks, and this is actually the issue that I want to address. It can become an issue because when you deploy a bot, your own bot actually stores its own market ticks. So if we have, let's say we have 20 bots, each bot is subscribed to the 15-minute Bitcoin up and down market. We are actually effectively storing 20 times the amount of data that we should, because each bot store their own market ticks. So we will get 20 bots, each have market ticks, so we store the same market tick basically 20 times, and that's really not ideal. So I think one fix that I'm gonna do is, let me see if I have Figma. I thought I had it opened, did not. Okay, let me see if yeah, so we have, let me see if I can write shared feed extra large. So now, right now we have the shared feed. Actually, we didn't have that before. I think actually I talked about this before. Yeah, so this is actually what I talked about last time. Before we had the bot would do its own connections to the WebSockets. Since then, I updated it, so we have the event data layer. So the bot subscribes to this shared feed, which is this one here. and that goes through Redis, and this event data layer is gonna do its own connection. So we only have the 10 connections right now instead of each bot having 10 of its each connections. So this one here, this whole part here is actually this now, but the issue now is, so we have bots here, right? Bot and a bot and a bot. Okay. They each connect here with the shared feed. That's fine. So they get the market ticks. Okay. So market. Okay, so they all get market ticks, and then actually what happens is they each store it in the database. How can I write that? So that's this is the symbol of a database. It's not like that. Oh, no, that doesn't look good. Let me do it like this. Database. Okay. Like that. That's not ideal, right? So what I want to do instead, I think. So another thing is, of course, the bots is also going to produce their own events. If I go back here to the monitor, they also produce their own events, and that's fine. The bots should own that. So these are the events from the bots. They should own that in the database. That's fine. As same as the fills here. They should also own that. Now, what I want to do then, so they own, maybe I will write bot events. That's fine. Okay, so they also have that. Yeah. But instead I want to have all of this. Actually, I'll remove that one. I will have this one, then store that instead maybe directly within the database. So let's say that we have maybe this one. Can we make this big? Yeah, it works better for me if I use these blocks here instead of my own handwriting. And then, so the market text then will be stored here in the database, and then the bots here. Oh my. Oh. Like this. Bots. Okay. They then fetched it directly here from the database, so we don't store it multiple times. Like that. And then, yeah, so the market text is only going to be stored one time. That's at least the idea behind it. So that's the idea behind it, at least. So that's going to be the next optimization. And then instead of storing it in S3, I think maybe did I write it down here somewhere? No. So currently, what happens right now is, after a while, it's gonna be backed up to S3 and then deleted. You know, and I really don't like this. That's a very early idea. So what I want to do is, I want to instead of doing this, I want to use something like, I think it's called Tailscale. No, it's not Tailscale. What is it called? I can't remember. There's a database specifically for time series data. I think it's. Let's see. It's Timescale. That's what it's called. This one here. So this one is a time series database for high performance real-time analytics packaged as a Postgres extension. So that's an extension to Postgres So let me see. So this is our database. And what I want to do instead then is, can I do like this? Yeah. So away with this. And then I want to have this extension. What was the time scale? And then store that forever, potentially. Because right now it's really not good. So if maybe I can find an old bot of mine, maybe this one. Yeah, so you can see here that there's no market text now, so now it's archived in S3. And then if I click load from S3, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And then if it does, it kind of just takes a while. It's kind of slow. So right here, it wasn't that bad. Not ideal. Want to fix that. Yeah, so that's what I mean about data handling. And hopefully that makes sense, even though my handwriting not that great. Security. Yeah, that's basically it. But yeah, but right now I'm working on the latency. There's a discrepancy between the latency when we do simulation and then the latency when we do live trading. Actually, I think I have one running now, which is in simulation that is tracking the latency. It must be this one here. Yeah, test latency, just not check. So it is price to beat, BTC, chain link. Must be this one here. Running. Okay, so it yeah, so we have data here. So this is actually a new feature which is currently only available for myself. Yeah, so the first step here is, you can see it, right? Yeah, you can. The first step is the data source to the server. So that's basically the WebSocket Polymarket. And we have a median latency right now of 24 milliseconds. Now this can be improved to around 10 milliseconds if and when I move server to AVS in Dublin. And that's about the co-location that I talked about here, this one here. And then step 2 is basically, all right, the server receives it and then it produces an action. That's currently in this test, it was 23 milliseconds, which is too high. And that can fluctuate because of many different things. Again, there's many things, different things that can, like, it can handle a lot of events. But then sometimes maybe if they get congested or something like that, it can increase the latency. So this one is something I want to address. And this one also fluctuates quite a bit, so I need to figure out why that fluctuates. And then the action, so from the time that the bot says now there's an action till it submits it, is another 1.5 milliseconds. And then the Order API, this one is very low because we don't do live trading on this test here, but when we do live trading, you're actually measuring from the time we emit the order to Polymarket till we get a response back, and that one is actually quite high. So I'm going to see if I can find one of those sessions. Let me see. Maybe this one here. Yeah, so the Order API is 383 milliseconds. This is out of our hands basically. And I think it could also be because there's Polymarket adds their own latency. But so from the time, step 4 here, from the time that we basically ping Polymarket servers till they return a response, is 383 milliseconds, which is pretty high. But it's not really something we can do much about. And then what I'm working on right now is fixing step 2 and step 3. So you can see here that this one is quite higher. Actually, both is quite higher than simulation. So there are some steps within the order execution that adds extra latency. Actually, it was worse before. Let me see if I can find. This one is not too bad. This one is 14 milliseconds. Yeah, here. So this one, that's what I fixed now. So actually, at the before, so I did basically, it would submit the order, but before submitting the order, it would call Polymarket's APIs to something like check the balance, check the fees, check the ticks, stuff like that. I've now removed that, and then I cache it, and then it uses the cache. So it reduced the latency to about 80 milliseconds, but it's still pretty high. So that's basically what I'm working on now. Let me see. Oh, it's updated now. Shit, yeah. So using this right perfect from the preview we showed. Yeah, nice. Yeah, I appreciate the feedback. So when you're saying Shattered themes is like, or that's the new, like, they have the, I think actually, I haven't really kept up to date with that. So that's like predefined themes or what in Shattered, like color themes and stuff. So here, I had an issue yesterday with live trading. Let's see what the CSV confirms a duplicate live exit raise. 2 sell actions for the same 5 down shares fired less than 1 milliseconds apart. One sell fill, the second sell, then try to sell the same already matched 5 shares and Polymarket rejected. Okay. Add a live Polymarket duplicate exit guard. After successful live sell submit, the runner reserves that market outcome size briefing. So, but okay, so we had, it seems like the bot failed because we got that exception. How could we prevent that from happening? Because ideally the bot should just keep running. It should just have rejected that secondary duplicated cell and then just kept running. But it didn't. It completely broke the bot, so we need to address that as well. And we also need to ensure that this has been covered in the test cases. yeah, so a lot of the stuff that I do right now is basically just creating some very simple strategies and then deploy it in live trading. So the one I do now is a scalper. Let's see. This one here. Now I have a lot. It's getting a little bit confusing because I have that many. But this is, I mean, you wouldn't have that many. You would also clean it up. But I haven't really done that. Here, this one. Actually, let me just edit the strategy. So the strategy is pretty simple. Basically, I block the first 12 minutes of a 15-minute market. Yeah, you can see it. And I ensure that there's at least 30 seconds left of the market. And then basically it's just gonna enter if where the price is higher than 0.9. And then a stop loss and a take profit. And if the price is 0.99, it's gonna try exit if there's size. Alright, nice. Yeah, I will look into that with the Shetland themes. Shetland themes. Cool. Okay, so I'm just gonna commit this here, and then I'm gonna run the strategy again and testing the latency as well. So I want to run the live strategy. I want to run the strategy live trading and then enable latency tests just to get a little bit more samples and then continue tweaking the latency. That is the task right now. So yeah, so something that I didn't mention is basically, yeah, that's kind of the realization that I've had doing agentic development, is how much you become the bottleneck. I mean, I guess you also were the bottleneck when you are doing coding by yourself mainly, but now it's kind of in a different way. Like you can see here, I have 21 pull requests and I have a lot of issues as well. I could have the AI do all these issues. It's basically ready for development, all these issues. But then it would create the pull request and then it's up to me to like test it out and make sure it works. So that's kind of the bottleneck, right? That's also why I'm trying to use AI to help me testing it out with live trading. So I really feel like I'm becoming a bottleneck, because I spent probably most of my time architecting and then testing it out. So there's so many features here that I haven't really merged in, and that's also because I've just prioritized more important features. Some is really old actually. Some I probably can remove. I even have opinion ready, the venue. This is from March 10, but then I kinda, yeah, can you see it? No, you can't see it. Anyway, but I have a pull request to add opinion, which is a different prediction market. But I just didn't do it because I felt like, now let's just focus on Polymarket and get that 100%, and then I can concern myself adding more venues later. I think that's pushed now. Okay, so that's 0.3. Okay, so what I'm gonna do now is deploy in live trading my strategy. So that's gonna be the scalper, and I think this is 5th test live, and then track latency. So this is the 15-minute market. There's so much manipulation going on the 5-minute market that this strategy is never going to be viable. There's some on the 15-minute market as well, but not to the same extent as the 5-minute market. So what you'll see on the 5-minute markets is that at the last 10 seconds, the outcome basically just switches from one side to other sometimes. So like if you do this strategy here, which is a scalping strategy where it just enters when the price is almost certain and then it exits after like a few percent. When these market manipulations then happen, yeah, well, you're gonna get stopped out, and that's what happened for me a few times. But yeah, this one is gonna enter when we are around, when whatever is around 0.9. Of course, we could also tweak it to enter a little bit earlier. So actually, one strategy I want to look at. So now we just let this run here for a while, and let me go to which one? This one here. That's the. Or did we lose the profit? No. I see. Okay, it just restarted. So this one was actually failed. So I need to figure out why that failed. Okay, so let's look at this one here. Yeah, so this one is a reversal strategy that I've been testing out. So I did a video about it on YouTube before, and now I kind of tweaked it up a little bit, and I want to test it out as well when I on the so this is the 15-minute market, and it has somewhat of a different angle. So let me just show the strategy here. It's very simple strategy, but I block it 10 minutes before close. So I'm only gonna enter if there's a lot of market left, a lot of time left, and I'm gonna explain why, at least my idea behind it. So let me find it again. This one here. This one right here is simulation, and then I just deployed a live trading strategy just before. I'll show you that after. So this one is just simulation. But my idea behind this strategy was, so see if I can find a good example. So what I saw sometimes with the Bitcoin 15-minute markets is sometimes the probabilities very early in the market would actually go up around like 80 or 90, but still have like 10 minutes left. And I thought to myself, well, if there's 10 minutes left and the market already said there's a probability of 90%, I feel like 10 minutes is a long time with these up and down markets. So that's why this strategy basically buys any, when the probability is high, it's going to buy the opposite. And let me see if I can find where it actually did it. So we have some fills here. So you can see here that when it doesn't work, yeah, we lose like the whole bet. But then when it works, it's like plus 600%. Let me see if I can find. Actually, I should be able to open it here. Yeah. So here, this one is where it actually works. So you can see here the probability very early on in the market. They already said that the probabilities was for the outcome here was 86%. So, well, we still have like 10 minutes left. So I buy down here, and it actually did partial fills. We hold it, and then it actually switched up here. We exited over here, and then it dropped down again. So that's actually a little bit lucky one. Let me see one of those that didn't work. So if I click on this one. Yeah, so here we entered. So the market already said, yeah, very high probability so early in the market, but we still have a long way to go. It could probably reverse. Didn't do that though, in this case. Here as well. I mean, what could also be interesting is, all right, you have a strategy. Let's say that it doesn't work. Well, could you just reverse it? Just do exactly the reverse. Like, does that work? But that's something I'm running now. I just need to figure out why it was failed. And then what about this one here? Okay, this one here did not profit. This one doesn't have any fills. All right. So let's go back and look at the one we are trading now. So this one is live. There's no fills yet. So yeah, I'm betting the absolute minimum. So since the minimum is 5 shares, $1, so I probably enter around $3 or $4 and buying like 5 shares when the probability is very high. So yeah, This one doesn't have that much budget. It's $7, almost $8. But yeah, the purpose is actually not to try to really make any money. It's just to find a strategy that doesn't lose too much and just get some data and figure out what's going on, if something is breaking or not. That's kind of the purpose behind it. So we'll see if this one runs. So I already did this one, this strategy. I did it. Let me see. Actually, a few times. It's not profitable. It's not profitable. We have... See, this one here lost $5. This one was an unlucky one. And then this one profited a little bit. Let's see. Yeah, so you can see here, if you, yeah, you can see it, right? So this basically just scraping like small profits, 6%, 5%, 6%, and so you can see here it's gonna enter and then just a very small take profit up here. So just take like 5-6%. But yeah, it works until it doesn't. Let's see. That's the same here as well. So we enter and exit. And this is also a difference. Now I'm just gonna switch topic a little bit. You can see here that we actually enter the trade here and then it's filled here. So there's this delay, and that's because it's live trading. So from the time we send over the order till we actually get a fill, there's a small delay, and you can see that from this small gap here. Now let's see, this one here was not good. It's basically the same strategy. I lost $5 this one. Let me see this one here. Yeah. So I entered here and then it started to drop. I actually placed an order here, but it was not filled. And then what my stop losses does is just gonna keep trying. So you can see here that it add another order here, and then another one here, and then it actually exited here. But then I mean it then went up again, but then down again. So I think we did save some here, even though it wasn't perfect. But when the markets are so erratic, it's very difficult to get a fill sometimes. But I think we did good here, actually. We could have lost much more, but yeah, I mean, it's not perfect. For sure it's not. And this one here is bad. Did we lose all of it or what? Let's see. Yeah, I mean, yeah, so I did, yeah, okay, so I did change something. So this is what I saw here is like, it never exited. So I saw it was like 0.99. Why not exit? And then it just dropped. So I'd actually lost so much in this one here. And since then I've updated the strategy. I haven't seen it work yet, since I haven't run this strategy for too long. No, actually not this one here. Let's go back. So it's, yeah, and let's edit strategies, the newest version here. So what I did was, yeah, so I added another node. So if we have, let me see, yeah, so basically if we have a position and the bid is more than or equal to 0.99, I just sell everything we have, just to prevent something like that happening, because the market can become very erratic. I might even also add, I might even tweak it further, but I'll wait until we get some data in. I might even tweak it, so let's say that there's, I don't know, 5 or 10 seconds left, we just exit. Yeah, so that's yeah, actually let me try that feature now. So I did, this one is version 11. Oh no, sorry, that was wrong. It's still, when I have so many strategies, it's still a little bit difficult to navigate. Have it here. Oh, compare versions. Okay. Compare 11. Yeah. So the update I did from version 11 to version 12. Yeah, you can see here, added the I changed the threshold as well, and then added rules. So basically gonna sell. So actually I like this feature I did, so it's easy for me to see what I updated, because maybe you don't remember it, maybe you did update a week ago, or what did I change from one to another strategy. So I add these sell conditions and checking the thresholds. Of course you can't exactly see how they're connected, but it's gonna give you a pretty good idea about the updates. And it's so you're gonna check if you actually have inventory. It's gonna check the price for the bid. But so the bid is what people they are willing to pay. So we want that to exit. Okay, there's no yeah, so you can see here that it did not enter because we never reached that probability. It only gonna enter within the first 5 minutes. So this is a strategy that just gonna run for a while until we get some data in. Interesting. Do you check balance order book? Binance order book, didn't see on. No, so no, there's no Binance order book. The order book we have is from Polymarket. The Binance data we have is just the Bitcoin. It's just the crypto prices. So we have Bitcoin price, and we have ETH, Solana. The order book you see here over here is actually the order book for this market that we're trading. So that's the Bitcoin up and down. This data is also available in the strategy. Yeah. So yeah, this is something I want to do more now that Raven is getting a little bit more refined, and since I need to test out so much more, I wanna basically even spend more time on these live streams to do live trading with my strategies, and so I think that's something I want to do more. I think that's maybe a little bit more interesting for people than just looking at me coding. I'll probably do a mix. Some sessions I'll do live trading like this, talk about my idea behind it, and then other sessions I'm gonna do basically coding and feature work and stuff like that. So this one could actually enter now. We are reaching the probabilities. Let's see if it's gonna enter actually. I think maybe it's gonna... I think I put it around 85. If it reached 85 within the first 5 minutes, it's gonna enter. So the issue I had before, that should be fixed now, is... Oh, wait a minute, but this is... that's the scalper. No, sorry, that's the scalper. That's the others. Okay, so this one is only going to enter at the end of the market. Yeah, so it's going to take a while. It's the other one. The other strategy we just talked about will enter with the first 5 minutes. Let's see if we have that. That's the strategy for this one here. Yeah, that's not gonna enter. So why did it not? Let me go back to this one. Why didn't it enter on the other market? Yeah, I think it's because there wasn't a lot. So the reason why I didn't enter here, so this was the scalping strategy. It's only gonna enter if there's at least 30 seconds left of the market. So I think it did correct here. So here it just went up very quickly within the last, yeah, so there was like 30 seconds left. There was, at the time, there was 30 seconds left. The price was 0.7. And the strategy here will only enter if the price is around 80, I think. So this is 90. 0.9, more than 0.9. So yeah, I mean, that's something can be tweaked, right? Maybe we want to change it to 0.85. But this is great. That's the great thing here about Raven now is it's so much easier to develop ideas, deploy it, let it run for a while, and then change the parameters. Is the other strategy? So I think that one is probably. Oh. Let's see what else we have. All this just QA. I need to clean that up. Might just delete all of that from the AI that created all these. Scalper, reversal. Well, that's interesting that reversal likes to have a profit across all of them. That's... No, I mean, me personally, like, no, actually, I'm interested in all of it. The reason why I use the crypto market is because, yeah, there's a lot of liquidity and they run. It's good for me to use them for testing because I can just have it run very often and test different scenarios, different cases. But most of the people that use Raven right now use it for the crypto markets. But I think there's a high potential for these other markets as well, like mentioned markets and politics and stuff like that. So yeah, that's kind of our next step with the roadmap here, is to make it easier for people to do that. So we have this event browsing. Right now it's just difficult for people to use Raven to trade these alternative markets. I need to make it easier. Now it's easy to do with the Bitcoin up and down markets. Yeah, so the stream will come to an end soon. I have something I need to do this morning. So yeah, actually I didn't, this is actually the first stream I didn't do any real coding. I just kind of talked my brains out. Did some live trading. What about this one here? Is that, no, this one is still not... Yeah, well, it's a 15-minute market, so it's gonna take a while before 6 minutes left. Yeah, that's boring to look at. It's gonna run for a while, and then I'm probably on the next stream I'm gonna show the results when I have results, and focus the remaining of the weekends is basically continuing with the roadmap here, especially looking at the latency. So I'll look at the latency that needs fixing, and then just continue live trading. Caveman, no. What is Caveman for Codex? Oh, it's okay. It's the where you make it talk like a caveman to save tokens. I heard about that on X, where it's like a skill and it's gonna talk very basic like a caveman. I don't use that now. Let's see, caveman. Yeah, this one. Yeah, I heard about that. It's kind of a meme, but apparently it works. Why use many tokens when few tokens do trick? And this one is from The Office. I remember this from Kevin from The Office. Pretty cool. Claude skill that costs 65% of tokens by talking like caveman. I mean, it's crazy if that actually works. If it's really cuts it by 65%. Of output tokens. Brain still big, mouth small. I mean, that's actually nice because sometimes it's really annoying when Codex and Claude sends these long, now you have to read all this through, and it's just new object ref send inline prop. Yeah, fucking alt middleware. I might try this out. Yeah, yeah, I completely agree. Like some of these yeah, for example, when it responds something like this, it's just sometimes it's just right to just give me like a one-line explanation of what you're talking about, because sometimes it's gonna make like a big novel of explanations and it's just too much. So I might try that out actually, because I kind of thought of it as a meme, but now that I'm reading how it's actually gonna respond, it's just a very brief response with like cut out all the bullshit. Yeah, I might actually try this out. Yeah, thanks for the shout here. I'm gonna check this out for sure, but it's kind of an issue. Well, sometimes it is. Not that I've had an issue with tokens, like especially Codex. Like I don't really, when I upgrade it to the $100 per month, I don't really have any issues with tokens, but I would appreciate these more simple responses here. Okay, nice. Yeah, I actually use Codex, but I also use Claude. But Claude is kind of the same. So yeah, I'm gonna try it out with both. All right, thanks for checking in. I think I'm gonna stop the stream here. Still morning here. I'm gonna get a coffee, get ready, and then start the day with some Saturday stuff. So thanks everybody for checking in, and I think I'm thinking about doing live streams, trying to do live streams every day. As I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I think maybe I'll try to do that starting next week. Just do like 1 or 2 hour morning streams, but we'll see. If I do, you'll see me on YouTube. So thanks for stopping by, and have a good day. Bye bye.